live again.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's funny how 10 seconds before we go live, we're all slagging each other off. Why are we fucking doing this? And then as soon as it goes live, hey everyone.
Hi guys. Like and subscribe down below.
Game face on.
We go professionals.
Yeah.
He says we get his drink.
Well, what drink is it?
Well, it's just water, but I put a bit of lime cordial in, and I keep forgetting it's in there. So when I swig it, I'm like, because I put a bit too much in. But oh well, it's just water. Ooh. That was weird. Did I just hear myself?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just repeat yourself.
Strange but true. Yeah.
So we've spent the last 20 minutes fixing technical issues, haven't we? Which has been, which I find really frustrating. But it seems like we're sorted now, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't have any technical issues for once. Normally, I'm late or whatever, but for once I was early, no problems. These two have been stressing out for the last half an hour. It's been really fun to watch. I just played Tetris on my phone, so yeah.
Yeah, I had a bad case of chipmunkitis, didn't I? Sounded like
Nick sounded like he'd sucked a helium balloon. And at first I thought he was putting it on. I was like, is he putting that voice on? And then I realised, no, it was something.
No, I'm not putting it on. This is my real voice.
It sounded exactly like that.
It did actually, yeah. Again, I'm still convinced he was putting it on. Yeah.
I was not.
Yes. Oh well. Well, we're here again, another week. What have you been doing on my screen? You're first, Nick. So what have you been up to, man?
Yeah, just the usual, really. Still settling in here. It's got lots to do, so cracking on with bits of that around the new house. I did have Monday and Tuesday off, so I was doing some music work, which is very fun. It's nice to have some to get stuck in with. Back at work today. Boo. But other than that, it's all good. I've had a good few days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you had Monday and Tuesday off? You've not had many days off at all, have you? In the last year?
No, not many at all. I had a couple of days over the Christmas period as well as the Christmas Day, obviously. Not a significant period of time off since a week in August, really.
How did you find it? Were you bored or did you love it?
Well, having the time off this week.
Yeah,
I had a great time. Yeah. I got up late, watched a couple of movies, and then did some music work all day. So it was brilliant. Yeah. Can
you talk about what the music work was, or is it?
No, it's not really top secret. No, it's library music. So we had Dan on last week, who does production music. So it's just to go over it quickly again. It's real songs, but specifically for use in TV, film, and advertising. And I was working on some kind of power poppy rock tunes. So right in my wheelhouse and real fun. Like Weezy, Jimmy Eat Worldy sort of stuff. So yeah, good shit.
Cool. That sounds good. Can we hear that, or is that exclusive for the people that you're writing it for?
It depends who picks it up, what publishing company. Some of them do post it online where you can listen to it and download it for use and pay for it to be used and stuff, obviously. But you can sample it beforehand. But some of the companies even have Spotify playlists of it.
I think we listened to one, Nick, didn't we? Acoustic rock or something.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. That was a fun brief, actually. Yeah, we even ended up getting Tommy to play drums on that. So yeah, it was good. There's a lot of Goo Goo Dolls-esque acoustic rock.
It was good. It was good, to be fair. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. Dan, that was Dan's project, and
I specifically remember it because the album cover was an acoustic guitar in the shape of a BC Rich guitar, which just looked bizarre, really. For anyone who doesn't know, BC Riches are those gnarly metal guitars that are like axes, and they have like flaming dragons on them. Things like that.
Really pointy things. Yeah.
Really pointy, like take your eye out if you weren't careful.
Yeah. Shred machines.
Cool. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking wine. I'm drinking Casalero del Diablo.
Oh, from the Devil's Cellar.
Yeah. It's the Salvignon Blanc. I think I've done that joke before.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the year 2020.
Good year. Well, actually, it wasn't. Was it?
Great year. Great year.
Yeah. With hindsight, it wasn't a great year.
Yeah.
That was a hindsight 2020 joke.
Okay. That's is that that's an entire bottle? It better be.
I'll be drinking the whole lot. Yeah.
No, I'm not here to judge, mate. I'm not here to judge. Andy, what have you been doing? You've been busy, man.
Yeah, I've been busy. Well, is anyone who
the whole
no? Oh, what's wrong, Nick? You're panicking. You're still with us?
I think my internet's sketching out, and I lost you all. Sorry.
Sorry, you're back. You're back. I'll make sure we're still live on YouTube. Yes, we are. Yeah, well, anyone who watches regularly will notice my background looks different. And as you can see, there's a tiny Buddha here keeping watch because announcement, I've moved. So I'm no longer in Northampton. I now live in Milton Keynes. So yeah, moved in with my girlfriend Laura. So we moved this weekend. Basically, we just couldn't be bothered with not seeing each other over lockdown, so we just thought, hey, let's move in together. We were going to mess around. We were going to move in a long time ago, but we just decided to do it, and it's all fell into place. And yeah, so moved in on Saturday. It was very fun and tiring. I forgot how annoying moving is. Obviously, Nick did it the other week, and Laura lived in London, so I had to go down and get her, and then we came back up to Milton Keynes. Moved everything in, but yeah, we've got a nice little apartment in the city centre of MK. So for me, it's a 3-minute walk to work, which I'm pretty happy about. I'll be honest, she isn't, but she's a rock and she's an angel. She doesn't care about that sort of thing. I'm not hearing about it all the time. I'm not at all. No, I'm not at all. She's wicked. She is going to be commuting into London from here, and it's obviously a better train link in terms of that. So yeah, so all settled in. We've pretty much got everything where we want it. Few bits to get, but yeah, all good really. The one thing is we've been going for a lot of walks around the area. Like I know the kind of bits around work, but we kind of adventured out a bit more to kind of see what's around. And there's so many bits because obviously Milton Keynes is very, as everyone who watches probably knows, is very office orientated. Like businesses are here, and there are a lot of them. But at the minute, with everyone working at home, it's very quiet and it's a bit like a zombie town. So we're walking around like, oh yeah, this restaurant's really nice, but it's not open. Oh, the shopping centre, we saw like 4 people. We went for a walk because the shopping centre's open. Shops aren't open except for like food. But you can walk it. So we just did the loop of it just to show like I Laura it. And we saw like 3 people in the whole of MK shopping centre. You know, with everything closed. M&S is open and Boots is open. But you guys, anyone who watching knows, it's a very busy place, and we literally saw 3 people in the whole place. So it's a bit spooky, I'll be honest, at the minute. But you know, I'm sure it'll be all good when everyone kind of comes back and all that stuff. So yeah, exciting times.
Yeah, you forget how like you say, how stressful it can be moving, and how like. I think every time I've moved, it's like you think a planet in your head, and I don't have a lot of stuff. You know, I've never like furnished a house and then had to move it all. But you, there's just so many little bits you forget, and then you think you've packed, and it's like, oh no, there's that bit, and then that bit, and then it's like you've hired a van and you can't. Oh mate, it can be it can be. Well, they say it's one of the most stressful things, don't they?
Well, I'll tell you a lovely prime example is I was cooking dinner last night, and I realised that neither of us had a tin opener. So I had to use a Swiss Army knife to open a tin. So the first thing I did today was go out and buy a tin opener because I was just like, neither of us had a tin opener. What? So luckily my Swiss Army knife came in handy for something other than cutting my toenails. I washed it, just for anyone out there. I did wash it before I use the tin opener section. But yeah, so it's those little things like that you kind of forget that you don't have. But yeah, it's all good. Adulting, it's fun, isn't it?
I didn't have a wine bottle opener, and I had to use a technique with a screw, and it went wrong. It went wrong, and the cork went straight in, and the wine went straight up.
Perfect.
Got the ceiling, so we had to repaint the ceiling before we moved house.
Which is now why I buy screw top wine.
Yeah, or just wine opener.
But the good thing is I've had this week off, so I'm off work this week because we wanted to obviously just have a nice chill week together. We haven't seen each other since like December in person. So because Laura was in Faversham and I was in Northampton, so yeah, it's all good though. So we've had a nice week off, chilling out together. We're watching Game of Thrones through from the start. So I'm going to stop watching it at season 6 and just pretend they cancelled the program. Just like, oh wow, what a cliffhanger! Pretend season 7 and 8 happened. You know, all good.
What are you drinking?
What's that, mate?
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking lime cordial, as I said. I haven't actually got any beers or anything. We do have some Captain Morgan spice rum, but I didn't really fancy it. So lime juice for me.
Well, lime and spiced rum goes well together.
Well, that's what Laura's trying to get me into the spiced rum world. So we had Cubans, I want to say. So it's Coke, lime, and rum. Sorry, I forgot what we were drinking. So we had a couple of those. We had a couple of those the other night. So yeah, it was quite nice. To me, it tasted like, I didn't want to put it down because she loves like rum so much. I didn't want to put it down. But I was like drinking it. Like, yeah, it's really nice. It reminds me of those like really cheap ice poles, you know, like Mr. Freeze ice poles. It just tastes like the cola flavor of those. She just sort of looked at me like uncivilized. But I'm sure I'll come around to it. What about you, Josh? What's been happening in Josh world this week? It looked like you were having some fun today, or if that video was from today.
What
your little camping stove.
Oh yeah, no, that's from the weekend. Yeah, I went out and just watched the sunrise and made a coffee, and it was really nice. So yeah, that was good fun. Yeah, not a great deal to be honest. Working as usual, working out, walking, shopping, cooking, just the usual stuff really. But I feel a sense of hope with isn't there like another announcement like in the middle of Feb about if the situation is going to change? Wasn't that what they said when they first?
I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't actually seen because I'm not watching. I haven't really watched the news this week, so I'm a bit behind on everything. Normally, I'd kind of while I work, I maybe have it on in the background and stuff. Because I've had this week off, I haven't actually really dipped into anything. But not that I'd seen. What was it potentially saying?
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch
mainstream media.
Yeah, well, I don't watch media other than Netflix. So I've no idea what's going on. I feel like with the situation at the moment, you know, they say we can do this, then we'll do it, and if they say we can't, then I won't. I don't think watching it and worrying, and I mean, I know they're doing a shit job. I don't need to watch the BBC News tell me 20 times a day that it's shit. But anyway, yeah, but I'm sure when we went back into this lockdown this time, it was sort of, if everything goes well in the middle of Feb or something, we may ease restrictions or something. I don't know. But I think there's a sense of hope there, maybe, that we might be allowed.
I saw a headline that said the numbers are still high, but we're kind of maybe at the peak or just past the peak now. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I know that anyone listening. Hello to everyone watching and listening. Actually, we haven't even like said hello to them or anything.
Yeah, like you literally just 3 lads talking on the web.
Yeah, I know this is like informal, just a chat with mates down the pub, but it is supposed to have a show element to it, isn't it? Sorry to everyone watching. But saying that, there's been a bit of action in the comments, a lot of action in the comments. Oh, Emma Kemp. Hi, Emma.
Oh, thank you, Emma. Yes, thanks. I just saw you put congratulations. Thanks, Emma.
Oh, and she's drinking red wine.
Damn.
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 Emma does say this. They said the schools aren't going back till March, which I have seen. I have seen that because bless my sister's heart and anyone else out there. But my sister Emma is homeschooling and working from home at the minute, and I know it's a lot tougher this time round. And a girl I work with is in the same boat and is having a much harder time this time round. So anyone out there who is homeschooling and working, I take my hat off to you, because I definitely couldn't do it. I'm dealing with the stress of just working, not also trying to teach / raise kids. So yeah, well done anyone out there who's doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, mate. You're off this week. I mean, it's funny now that you're living close to work, but still working from home.
Mm-hmm. I haven't done any work from home yet, but we'll see. But the good news is, I was debating whether to. I mean, I think maybe everyone's in the same boat who's working at home, but definitely it's much harder the start of this year working from home. It might be different for me now because I've got a change of scenery. But I was debating whether to do, because I'm so close to the office and no one's in there, maybe do 2 days just to break the routine up a bit. Because I don't know about anyone else, but I found myself working longer than I should be. And it's for the simple reason that I'll think, oh, I'll do a couple more emails because I'm at home and I'm only going to turn my computer off and then I'm done. So I'm thinking that I might go into the office to feel like I've got that bit of normality back and break it up a bit. Because obviously I want to be spending my time here with Laura, who I've moved in with, and not with work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's something that's really difficult, isn't it? It's having, particularly if you live in like a smaller flat or a place where you don't have a spare room or an office room, and you're eating, working, and having fun with your partner in the same room for your entire life during this period. That's not healthy. That's really not a good thing to be doing. But lots of people are doing it, and they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. So, well, you've been, well, not made to, but you were going into the office, weren't you, Josh? In terms of to have that kind of normality, I suppose. But you've had the opposite effect, where you've been told to put it to homework.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm going in when I have to, but that's not very often. I much prefer going in. I think it's like leaving the house occasionally is nice. Seeing other people, being sort of reminded that you are part of a community and there's other people out there, and some people some people you don't know, whatever, is good. And separating the place where you work and the place where you have free time, I think is really important. It is for me anyway. I'm sure there's some people that are absolutely loving working from home and it suits them perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to go back, but I'm not like that. But lots of people have lost their jobs, so it's lucky to even have a job.
Yeah. Amen to that. We want to see some more chit chat in the comments, so hit us up, people. But I see your brother's joined us, Josh.
Excellent. Hello, Timothy.
Yeah, anyone on Facebook also? Is anyone watching us on Facebook? Let us know, because it's a new venture for us last week and this week. So anyone who's watching Facebook, hit us up and let us know.
Definitely. I'll let's do some real talk. How is your mental health? If you don't want to talk about it, absolutely cool. But if you do, then that could be useful.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, mate. Mine is mine's good at the minute. It was in the gutters about 2 weeks ago, if I'm honest. And as you two know, I obviously didn't do the show a couple of weeks ago, but that was just through kind of mental exhaustion, really. Like I messaged you guys a bit last minute, obviously, just to say that I wouldn't be doing it. But it was just like I got burnt out from work, really. works wicked. Happy I have a job, love my job, love working for the company I work for. But it's very hard in my world at the minute of logistics, as you can imagine. Not just from Brexit, because Brexit has thrown a whole can of worms in that no one was expecting, but also there's a lot of issues moving freight out of China, which is where a lot of our product is made, and moving it out of the Far East. So it's just caused a lot of stress, really, in my job. But like I kind of hit a bit of a breaking point. Spoke to my boss at work, who was super supportive, which was amazing, and we put a plan in place, and then we've kind of figured out how to manage the data, and yeah, it's been good. And since then, it's all been good. But I think what probably didn't help was I had the added bonus of trying to organise a move in with Laura, and then also the fact my mum, God love her, had a hip replacement. So I was kind of quite worried about that and how that was going to go and everything. But thankfully, all good. The op was a success, and she's already walking around on crutches and doing really well. So yeah, so it was a bad time, I will admit, a couple of weeks ago, but it's getting better, I should say.
What did you do when you were not great? How do you deal with it?
My big issue is, and I don't know about anyone else, I tend to internalize a lot of my stuff, and then what happens is it all kind of comes out in one big wave, I suppose. So mine was I was having to deal with a lot of data at work. I'm trying to figure out how to be able to tell customers, or tell the customer how we were going to tell different teams of what was late and how late it was, and that we were going to have to how to be able to communicate all of that stuff. And I couldn't get my head around it. I was in meetings after meetings and trying to do them remotely and all that stuff. And like a guy I've worked with for a while now, we've got a good relationship. He could see something was wrong with me, and he just said, "What's up, mate?" And that's when it happened, kind of thing. It only takes maybe that one person to sort of say it. But then, like I say, it happened. I got emotional, not ashamed to admit it, because I think you should, And from there, my boss called me immediately, got me on a call, reassured me, and was, really supportive from there. So yeah, so I suppose I didn't deal with it, Josh. It's part of your question.
I know. I think that's such a common thing. I think that you don't. Well, I do that. I think a lot of people do, but I think you want to hold on to it to see if you can deal with it, and then you deal with it and work it out, and then everything's fine, and you don't need any support. But obviously, you don't know that that's the right thing to do until you figure out that you can't handle it, and you only figure that out when you let it out, and whether you get angry or sad or whatever it is. But then that's a completely normal reaction, isn't it? We're supposed to have all of the emotions. We're not only supposed to have the good ones. So yeah, and the fact that when it did overwhelm you, and your colleague helped you, and you spoke to your boss and they helped you as well, it's like, oh, okay. So even if the worst case scenario does happen, and I am overwhelmed and I'm not able to cope, whatever that is, you speak to some people and they help you out, and then you solve the problem. So it's like,
yeah. Whereas in my mind, it was, this is all on me, and I'm going to get sacked. And then that feeds into, I'm literally about to move into a place, and this is going to happen, and this, and before you know it, all these things you've said. And like my boss, bless him, he said to me last week before I went off, he said, "Look, mate, in 2 months, me and you will look back on this, and you will laugh, thinking, I can't believe I let that get to me the way it got to me." So definitely.
Yeah, cool. What about you, Nick? I mean, I think you've had a different set of stresses. Definitely to me, like you've been working constantly and you've moved house twice. So that's going to have an effect. How are you at the moment?
Yeah, I'm good. To be honest. I have my days, like most people. Sometimes things get on top of you, but I think recently having so much positive stuff to focus on, like moving here to our own house, me and Lauren are very happy that we've finally got here, and we're enjoying the challenge of making it ours. And I think having that to focus on has really helped. And obviously working all the way through through lockdown, going into the office every day, that distraction has really helped. Having something to focus on just kind of gets you through a little bit. I mean, obviously, you don't want it to be a distraction and then it bubble underneath. But I think focusing on stuff and working every day, I think that's just really, really helped. But where I am now, I'm very happy, and having music work to work on as well. So I've had bad periods, but now I'm all right.
That's good, man. It's really nice to see. I mean, it's strange having this relationship dynamic that us three have got, which is just virtual. But we do see each other every week, and we have a little chat before and after, and we do the show. It's weird, but it's still socialising. It's still talking to people and sharing stuff. Although it's sort of enforced in a way because it's the same time every week. We do speak outside of this as well. I think that's really important. Having structure. It is for me, like you say, going to work, Nick, is really useful to have the distraction. And that's exactly the way I see it as well. Sometimes you want a day off, but I think at the moment I don't particularly enjoy, like, I'd be happy with like a 1-day weekend at the moment because I can get like all of the stuff I do in a day, and then like Sunday afternoon I'm like twiddling my thumbs thinking, all right, well, what can I pack into this afternoon until we get back to work. But yeah, it's when that distraction becomes a distraction from you dealing with the problems rather than just a bit of time off from thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what about you, Josh? How was your
Yeah, good. I've had some rough patches. I mean, you guys know we've had long conversations, but yeah, no, good at the moment. Work is going well. It's busy and getting busier, which is nice, but it's not taken over my life. I'm still starting and finishing roughly on time, and not thinking about it too much while I'm not there. And yeah, trying to. When I was having a rough patch, I was thinking, well, what can I do to help myself? And it's all things like meditate, exercise, get outside, and you do it. And I'm good at following like a routine and doing the same thing every day. So I have a journal and I write everything in there because that really helps me. But after you've done it for a week, a month, 2 months, and you don't feel any better, you're like, fucking hell, I'm doing everything right, and I'm still not feeling any better. This is bullshit. But the last couple of months or last month or so, things feel like they've started to click into place, and things have required a little less willpower and a little less effort, which is nice. But yeah, no, I've been good recently. The only reason I asked that question is because we never really talk about it. But I spoke to somebody the other day who was having a rough time, and I thought, every time I've spoken to somebody in the last 6 months, and just a one-on-one conversation, more often than not, they've said how they've been having problems, or they've been stressed, or they've not been sleeping, or their relationship's not working, or whatever it is. And even when I was feeling rough, and people were speaking to me saying, "Come on, let's go for a chat," quite often they'd end up talking about their own problems, and they were worse than mine. I just think it's a universal thing at the moment. This is a really unusual situation. We can't be expected to act in a usual way. So
I think that leads in quite well, actually, to I can see Tim's commented, just asking, we've not talked about it, but how are people, us I suppose, but people in general, dealing with survivor syndrome? So at the moment, I've been furloughed for a year, and it's really tough, but I'm constantly bothered. So many have it so much worse. So yeah, I mean that's definitely a thing. Like not as much now. I mean, I'm very thankful I have a job. I've had a lot of positives in my life. I've got the amazing positive. I just moved in with my girlfriend, and we're building a life together. But at the same time, if I rewind to last year, where I was furloughed and I was frustrated that I was bored. So I personally had to snap myself out of that and just say, the fact that I'm bored is the only worry I've got at the minute. That means that that everything's okay. But everyone is going to deal with it completely differently, in terms of survivor syndrome. I mean, I don't know about you two, but your sort of thoughts on it are.
Yeah, I think that's a really common thing, that people feel guilty for feeling bad, or when they're fortunate. I'm a fortunate person. I have a lot of great things in my life. That doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have sad moments or low moments. There's always, if you think about a person that you think has had the roughest life, the most unfair things have happened to them, there's still somebody worse off than them. There's always somebody worse off. There's always somebody better off. So comparing yourself to somebody else, compare despair is the saying, but which is so true. But you're the only person with your life experiences, and yeah, there's I don't think there's anything you can do for to not have that survivor thing, or to feel bad, or if you feel like, oh well, I've got all these things, why do I feel sad, or why do I feel angry, or whatever it is. That's completely normal, but your feelings aren't invalid because somebody's going through something harder or tougher.
Yeah, I always remember a podcast that I've listened to for years. Just two friends just sort of talking about stuff, and one of them said this thing. It's always stuck with me, which is someone had written a question in about feeling bad or whatever, and he said, "Look, when you feel good, that's wicked, but the bad feelings have just as much right to be in your head as the good feelings do. That's the whole point of it. They're both equal in that sense, and they both have their place, and it's healthy to have both and not more one than the other."
Or always reminds me of the line in Vanilla Sky. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like you can't. The sweet is never as sweet if you haven't sour.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
good movie.
Yeah. So I can. I obviously I know my brother's been furloughed for a long time, and I also know that he's one of the hardest working people that I know. And it's I don't know if unfair is, in my opinion, I don't know if unfair is the right thing. I know he'd much rather be working, but it's just not an option. And being furloughed for a year, that's a long time to not be doing your job. And I know he loves his job, and it's important work to him. So he wants to crack on and solve these problems. So I can imagine that's a really difficult situation to get your head around. But it's in his situation, it's out of his control, like everyone else that's furloughed at the moment that would rather be working, regardless of how valid you think or important you think your job is or isn't. It's out of your control. It's the most important thing to do is to worry about what you can control and not worry about what you can't control. That I wish I knew how to do that, because I can't do that. But I know that's something to aim for.
Yeah, and I would say, having had this experience a few weeks ago, if you need to talk to someone or you need help, ask. There is always someone out there who will listen to you. So, and even if it's a stranger, even if you message the NN social page, we'll talk. So that's the important thing. Like, to speak up, talk. That's how it's going to be easier and stuff. So that's the one thing I would take from it.
I wouldn't have said shit to anybody 2 or 3 years ago. I'd have kept it all bottled up. I did. And I had a really bad 3 months because of it. Didn't say a fucking word to anyone. At the worst possible time, I was feeling so shit.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst that made that change?
Well, really, it was myself realizing how bad it had got. It got really bad. And I knew I needed to do something about it, and delayed and delayed and delayed. And it got worse, obviously. And then I just threw myself into being social again, even if I felt really fucking awkward about it. But being around friends or like acquaintances and like people that knew people that I know and stuff, it slowly chipped away at it, and then I got over it. But it was probably about 3 or 4 months of just being really fucking crap. Like not seeing anyone. I quit my job, didn't do anything for months. Yeah, but you know, eventually the way I got out of it was by talking to people.
Yeah, I think that's it's. I mean, obviously, mental health has been a I really don't want to say hot topic, but it is for the last, I don't know, year or two, maybe longer than that, and it's only getting more and more common that weirdly talking about stuff helps, which is so fucking obvious, but it is difficult. I mean, if you haven't done that before and you're not somebody that does that naturally, then it's difficult to cross that, or to get over that hurdle of doing it for the first time, and then you realise that well, perhaps it doesn't help everybody, but it certainly helped me. I started seeing a therapist about 4 or 5 years ago, and I love it. It's great. I look forward to it. You know, I think my opinion of it was like, oh, they're gonna crack me, and they're gonna like find out all of this, why I'm like the way I am, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. But I wanted it to be like the therapist from The Sopranos, obviously. But it wasn't. But it was so great, you know, that talking to a mate or a family member or something about your problems is always useful. Even just saying it out loud, like forming these thoughts and words you've got in your head into full sentences is a useful exercise in itself. So even if you just did that in a room on your own, that would be useful. It would be for me. But talking to your friends and family is great because you have another opinion and sometimes reassurance, or you can share the experience and get their opinion. But then when you talk to a professional who, you know, is trained and has expertise and knowledge and understands how the mind works, and more often than not can tell you that what you're telling them is completely normal and you're not crazy, which is always nice to hear. That's great, but therapy is fucking expensive. You can get it free, but the NHS generally will only give you therapy if you're a danger to yourself or others. So unless you're suicidal or going to self-harm or hurt someone else, then you might be lucky to get a short course of some cognitive behavioural therapy. Other than that, you've got to pay, and that's, you know, £50 to £100 a session. But I will say there is a service in Northamptonshire, maybe it's Northampton, called IAPT. It's IAPT. If you look for that, they offer help and services, and they can. Some of the organisations that work with them either do free therapy or pay what you can. So it's sort of, you pay as much depending on how much you earn. So if you don't earn anything, then you don't pay anything. That's a really useful thing. But therapy is becoming more normalised now, which is
definitely. I mean, I saw a therapist probably like 3 years ago now, 2-3 years ago. And again, I only went for as long as I felt I needed to go. You know, which was, I'd hit a pressure point, and then the analogy I like to use is that I was a radiator, and my therapy sessions helped bleed the radiator a little bit to relieve that pressure until I kind of felt myself again. You know. But yeah, it was similar to you, Josh. I looked forward to it every week. It was expensive, and my therapist was brilliant. You know, and it's one of those weird things where, like, I'll always have a fondness for that person because they heard kind of me at my lowest and helped me through it. And same thing, made me realise you're not the only one, which I think a lot of people need to hear, really, in terms of. It happens to us all, really, you know.
I think one of the things Sorry, I could hear myself in my headphones then. It was really confusing. One of the things, and now I've forgotten what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I don't know. But I think it's really useful. It's really useful to when you're talking to somebody who's impartial, who you don't know, who hasn't got any skin in the game, as in they're not friends with your friends, or they've got no history about them other than what you tell them. But being 100% honest with somebody is a really interesting thing, because you're quite often not honest to most people in your life, or you're not saying this bit because you're worried about how it might make them feel, and you don't want to make them feel bad in any way. So that's a nice thing to do. But when you're talking to somebody who is impartial and you can be 100% honest with, you can say horrible things that you've thought about somebody, and saying them out loud is like funny. I mean, you had a horrible thought about someone in your head, and maybe you're worried about it, and you think, oh, is that normal? Am I a psychopath? And then you say it out loud to somebody and you realize that's fucking ridiculous. But just vocalizing it is really, it's weird. It's like your internal monologue is it's just becoming its own thing. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on.
Hey, you got it there, bro. You got it there. I think we should maybe have some music now. But I think it's definitely a good honest chat that's come out of nowhere. So well done for dragging it out of us, Josh.
A bit of kick in the screen.
And again, in all seriousness, if anyone out there watching, even if you're not watching this live and you want to talk, you can hit me up, certainly. I know you can hit the boys at the NN Social. So just, reach out if you want to talk about anything.
Yeah, I've written some pretty fucking dark songs in my time as well. So that's I'd recommend writing thoughts down if you're not a poet or a songwriter. Writing stuff down as well.
That's really interesting. Sorry, just before we play the track, I was listening to Frankie Boyle on Louis Theroux's podcast, and fucking hell, I'm going to butcher this. He quoted maybe Alanis Morissette, I can't remember, about songwriting. It was something along it's such a powerful thing, and I've forgotten it, and it's just gonna.
Oh, I think I know the quote. I know the quote. It was, "Would she go down on you in a theatre?" It was that, wasn't it?
I just got deja vu. I think you've done that before. I think you sung that before.
Andrew Convey. I'm gonna look it up and say it when we get back.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, introduce the track.
Okay, so
or Nick.
I'll do that. Okay, so Carly Loasby, she's very.
Oh,
what a bad time for you to go internet, Nick.
Oh, we can't. Yep.
Stop. Hang on. Start again.
Okay, hello.
Start again.
There. Can you hear me? I'm all right. I'm there. Okay, yeah. Carly Loasby has she's very kindly given us a song. She started up a YouTube channel recently, so she's full pro, like nice microphone, nice camera, everything. So I hope you're fucking appreciative of this shit.
Hell yeah!
Here it is, Carly Loasby.
He's a wolf in sheepskin, pulled the wool over my eyes till I gave him. I sway out of the moon as it shone bright. Through the winter reflected the tears as I cried. Go. The clock strikes midnight as I bargain to the cause, and we go. 'cause I know he's not the man I love no more. No more. It's the catty prison in my mind. The ghostly lights below as I protest my crime. My innocence is oh so clear. My only crime is that I love, oh I loved a man who's seen. Ooh, we go. How can a conscience be clear when I took the fall? We go. 'Cause I know he is not the man I love no more. Oh, I said, chin up, I'll wait while you pick up your gun. And he aimed it towards my chest and missed. I said, take another turn. Undeniably, so reliably, I said, take my heart as your prize. You fucked over our love, 'cause everything you touch, it always dies. I hope he cries too. 'Cause I know he's not the man I love no more. No
Woohoo!
That's in the chat.
That's in the chat.
That's in the
Oh,
chat.
Carly, that was awesome.
Yeah,
That was,
Carly Loasby. So if you
uh,
search Carly Loasby on YouTube, you'll find it.
And that was a love song about, I don't know, something like a breakup. Which I looked at the quote while I was listening to that that I was searching for.
So it wasn't go down on you in a theatre.
It wasn't. No.
Okay.
That one.
My bad.
I was going to say that one later. It's that Alanis Morissette thought, because I've always thought songwriting or any kind of writing, when you're writing about your own life experiences, whether literally or turning them into some sort of story or something, is really cathartic. So that must be a really good skill to have to help you deal with your problems or work through them or understand them. But Alanis Morissette said that she finds songwriting cathartic, but it's not healing, which was a surprise to me. I thought it were. Maybe it's different. I mean, maybe you guys know better than me. Well, you do know better than me. I would have thought it would have been a good coping mechanism to understanding and dealing with problems. Have you found that or not?
Nick can probably speak better because he's a better songwriter than me. But before, I would have always said no. So when I was in Burn the Fleet, I never wrote personal songs. I wrote story, like a kind of a theme and a story or whatever. But Future Love, the last EP we did that we never released, we still have those songs, we've never released them. That is all they're all personal songs. So yeah, it's a bit weird. And I suppose that was a bit cathartic, that one. But yeah. But Nick is the more expert than I am.
What do you think, Nick?
I don't know about expert, but have I frozen again?
No. There was a bit of a delay.
Hello, I'm still here. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely cathartic for me. I started writing songs that were stories, because it became quite difficult singing those songs in public. And a lot of my songs are really, really poppy tunes, but if you listen to the lyrics, they are not poppy lyrics. So it's Century City, especially, they're very story orientated. So they're not true life stories, but they're informed a little bit from experiences. But when Kapowski was like, "You're a bitch, fuck you," not like that, obviously, exactly, but like that. But and it became quite difficult singing that kind of stuff in public. So now I just write them at home and then sing them at home, and then sing the stories in public.
It's I've recently got into photography a little bit, taking pictures and stuff, and I found it really enjoyable. And I look forward to doing it and thinking about it and working on it. And that's the first like creative thing or sort of project thing I've done for a while. I mean, I'd always done a little bit of music, a little bit of production, or DJ'd a little bit, or practiced turntablism on my own. And I found that sort of creative outlet useful. But it's been a while since I've done anything along those lines. So it's been really nice to sort of get my teeth into something, and I'm a complete beginner, so I'm learning, everything about it and making all the mistakes, and that's a really useful thing, I think. It is for me, just going through that learning process again. I think as you get older, you perhaps don't learn things as often as you did when you were younger, maybe, and I find that really useful. But I was listening to Adam Buxton's podcast, and he had Richard Herring on. Was it Adam Buxton? Yeah, it was. No, Stuart Lee, sorry, the other one. He had Stuart Lee on, and he was saying how, I think Adam Buxton was saying how he at the moment is just doing his podcast, and he could probably survive on that, and he's a bit concerned that he doesn't have to do anything else. And Stuart Lee sort of said, well, you want to do something, you want to just like create a little project or work on something small and get it out there and just do these little projects. He said he worked with a producer once who was used to Saturday Night Live, and their attitude is like, right, quick, do it, get it done, get it out there, work on the next thing. And Stuart Lee's attitude was like, no, I'm going to sit down with this for a long time and I'm going to rewrite it and redo it. And I think that attitude of like, just give it a go, make something, create something, draw something, sing something, and do it and get it out there and move on to the next one. Particularly if it's something that you're working on that's new, that you don't know about, it's going to be rubbish for a long time. That's just the nature of learning. So,
and it doesn't even
get through that. Yeah. You have to do that if you want to get good. Well, I mean, I know good's subjective, but if you want to learn, then you've got to go through the crap. Really, everyone is shit at something the first time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that after 20 odd years of writing songs, that I'll start to be good at some point.
Don't talk rubbish.
And I'm hoping that after like a year of nearly doing this, the show will be good. The NN Social will be good one day. So.
I feel like we're on the rise. There's a slight.
Yeah, I feel like we've done this. No, I'm only joking. We got a lot of questions actually, so thank you everyone who responded to our question poll. There was a question in the chat that I just wanted to address, which is Adam Bruce was asking how old I was, because he thinks we went to Guilsborough around the same time, and I believe we did, Adam, but I think I was a couple of years below you, so I'm 34. So, but I do remember you, Adam, because then I remember seeing you at the Sound House and being like, hey, you went to Guilsborough. And we used to get the same bus. I think you used to get off in Long Buckby, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. First question done. Right, I've got the questions lined up. So, friend of the show, Mo Dabbler asks, have any of you ever fallen out? So I assume he means between the three of us, and not have we ever fallen out with someone? Because yes, if that's the question, I have fallen out with people in the past. I've made up with people, but I can honestly say I've never fallen out with these two yet.
That's what you think.
And I've not even, and I've never come close to even wanting to fall out with them.
No, I think I think it's natural to get pissed off with each other, isn't it? I think I think your closest relationships are the worst for that, aren't they? Because you can be completely yourself without having to worry about being nice and shit. But which is, I think, a sign of a healthy relationship, actually. So I hate both of you.
Perfect. Like me and my best friend Tom have both punched each other, but I'd die for him. So and we did it and both cried. So there you go.
Oh,
You punched each other at the same time.
No, he punched me and then I
Was it
punched
like a
him.
haymaker?
So yeah. He punched me and I punched, and we were both very drunk at the time. But yeah,
He did it first.
he hit first.
He punched you first.
And I thought he was joking at first, and then I realised he wasn't. It was fine. It was fine. But I don't know, Nick. Have you ever fallen out with me and Josh, and we don't know about it?
No, you both really lovely. Yeah.
Prick.
I love you both.
Prick.
Such fucking lovely people to work with.
Next question again. Mo Dabbler sent a couple in. So next one from Mo. What is the worst film you have watched more than once? I 100% can answer this one, but I'll let you two go first.
I'll go first then. So I don't know if Dan's watching with Emma, but it was me and him both went to watch a film called Virus, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, the computer one! I love that. It was so bad.
Dog shit.
It's so bad.
We both left the cinema going, "What the fuck did we just watch?" And then about three or 4 years ago, I watched it again just to remind myself or check that it was that bad, and it is that bad.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, it's about a computer virus that comes from space and infects a Russian research ship, and then kills the crew and starts making them into robots. And Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Sutherland and one of the Baldwins have to fight them off, basically. So.
Yeah.
Good film.
Yeah, see, Dan, he said he knew I was going to say Virus. Yeah. It's an atrocious film.
It is atrocious.
Also, I'm a big Terminator fan, and I love Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, as everyone does. Mm-hmm. But I've watched Terminator 3 more than once, and that's fucking terrible. I've watched Terminator Salvation more than once, and that's fucking terrible. I've watched Terminator Genesis more than once, and that's fucking terrible. And I've watched the new one, Dark Fate, twice, and that's fucking terrible. So
yeah, I didn't even get through Dark Fate. Couldn't even start it. What about you, Josh?
Home Alone 3.
Oh, I've never seen it. I've never got near it.
Oh, it's shit. But Home Alone 1 is my favourite film, and Home Alone 2 is my second favourite film.
That's good.
So obviously I'm going to watch 3.
And Home Alone 3 is your third favourite film.
So I watched it once, and it's shit. And then I thought, no, it can't be. It can't ruin the dynasty. So I watched it again, and it was shit.
Perfect.
So have you seen Home Alone 4?
No, I refuse.
He got burned by 3. My one is so bad, but I don't even care. Mo says if you watch it more than once, I watch it all the time, and I know it's bad. Pearl Harbor, love that film, even though I know it's awful. It's Michael Bay schlock, and Ben Affleck being terrible in it, and Josh Hartnett. I think it's probably what made Josh Hartnett quit doing Hollywood movies. But yeah, I just love Pearl Harbor so much. So Pearl Harbor is my answer.
No, that doesn't work, does it? Because that's guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, I know. The thing is, I know it's bad though. Like,
it's not bad to you.
I know it's bad. Yeah, I suppose. Okay, let me think if there's another one that I'm thinking of.
We can come back to it. Really.
Maybe. Oh, I know actually. I watched it. I watched it recently at Halloween. I know. Not. I know what you did last summer, and not. I know. I still. There's a third one that went straight to DVD. I'll always know what you did last summer, and I've seen that twice. It's really bad. And the killer's like turned into a zombie or something. It's awful. And I've seen it twice. Yeah, I'll always know what you did last summer. Is my one. Okay, and last question from Mo. What small thing gives you the most joy? He gives an example. For me, it's getting my coffee bang on 30 grams.
Now, I understand that, and I saw that. But Mo, 30 grams. What are you doing with that coffee? Is that for two people or is that for one person? Because I'm interested. Because mine is very similar. Making coffee is something that I enjoy doing as well as drinking coffee. So yeah, when you're tipping out the coffee beans and then you stop and it's exactly, mine's either, I don't know, 20 or 15, but it falls dead on. It's like, yes. It's like you beat the system. I don't know what system, but yeah, that'll do.
Nice. Similar to filling up a car with petrol and getting it bang on.
Yeah. I'd say. Yeah, the car ones, the petrol's one for me, definitely. Don't know. I'm trying to think. I know. For me, I have to toast bread a certain amount, so it can't be too well done or too overdone or too well done. So when I get it just perfect, that's a real good one for me. So perfectly toasted bread.
That is good. So for me, I've got a few little ones. Sorting out the change in your pocket in size order.
Yeah,
nice.
That's very satisfying. This might make some people cringe, so trigger warning. If you heard that, I love that. And also, I'm a tapper, so I tap on the table. But I remember or maybe learning at the same time, me and Tommy, that if you tap your fingers like this, it makes a very satisfying tap. So you can do a kick drum, and that's your snare. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah. very satisfying. One more. When you give a high five, and there's a little bit of air in the pocket, so it's
yeah.
There you go.
Well, you know how to give the perfect high five to another person, don't you? You look at the other person's elbow. So if you both go to high five and you both look at each other's elbows, it always makes that perfect. But every time. So try it at home. Anyone who's watching now, if you're with someone, high five them, look at each other's elbows as you go, and it will be perfect.
Top tip.
Promise. Pro high fiver here. Next question comes from the Scuba Steve. We talk a lot about favourite places in Northampton. What about your least favourite places?
That's a great question.
That is a really good question, isn't it? Least favourite places in Northampton.
NBs.
Yeah, MB's is crap, isn't it?
That was just the silence while I think of others.
Yeah, let me think. Least favourite place. I know it'll sound mental, and it's not really a least because I'd still go there. But the Brampton Holt, when it expanded, I used to like it when it was just the original Brampton Holt, and it was this tiny little pub. Don't get me wrong, the expanded one's nice and the restaurant's nice, but I missed that when it was literally that railway stop building, and it was this tiny pub, and I used to go and play like acoustic nights on a Sunday. So yeah, that. But again, I'm nitpicking. That's not least favourite. But I miss that essentially.
I think I'd say the Greyfriars bus station site, because it's fucking empty.
Yeah,
it's a massive space, and they need to do something cool with it because it's wasted. So
Yeah. Do something with it. Yeah. One more before we move on. I really, really hate the DJ booth at the Wigan Pen.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. Another one for me is my least favorite place in Northampton is those two-hour parking spaces outside the lamplighter that always go before I get there. That's my least favorite place because I always want one of those spaces. I miss them, and then I have to go and park in the bloody multi-story around the corner. So that's one of my least favorite places. They're always taken, or they're not always taken, but someone has parked really badly, and you could fit your car in if they just pulled up. Anyway,
you're preaching to the choir there.
Yeah. Kim asks, smelly fart on a first date or burp during first kiss?
That's obvious.
Okay, we'll answer at the same time, and we'll see what we all go with. 1, 2, 3, fart.
Smelly fart.
Yeah,
there you go. So that answers your question.
You'd be burping in their mouth, but if you farted, you could just say, "Oh, the sewage around here is." Yeah,
in theory, if you're on a first date, you're probably going to be in a bar, so you could always fob the fart off on someone else if you're in the bar. Like you could do a smelly fart and then be like, "Oh, who the fuck is that?" Or wait till the wait has been and just been like. So smelly fart.
Well, I didn't realise you could disown it. I didn't realise that was an option.
Well, there you go. I mean, because the burp and the first kiss, you ain't blaming that on the waiter, are you?
Yeah, I'm guessing that Kim farted on the first date with Chris and lied and said to us.
Yeah, Kim, is that true, Kim? Did you fart on your first date with Chris? Yeah, Dan makes a good point. The burp depends what they've had for dinner. That is a good point.
As long as it's not sewage, it's fine.
Okay, another question. Favorite Greg's pastry? Sausage roll, easy. Greg's sausage roll is the best.
Yeah, don't fuck about. Vegan one or not though?
Oh no, the straight up one.
Yeah, it's either that or a sausage being melt.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of Greg's, to be honest. But I've had a few sausage rolls and they're tasty, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, the vegan one is good though. I will say, as a meat eater, the vegan one is very good.
Yeah,
which is awesome. In fact, actually, I've been cooking a lot of vegetarian meals with meat replacements for me and Laura, and they've all gone well. And I enjoy corn mince. Very good.
Co-op vegetarian stuff is insanely good.
Yeah,
I have Aoife and James to thank for that. They brought some sausages over for a barbecue a little while ago that were just insanely nice. And I had some of the burgers last night with Lauren, and they're really good.
Okay, banging. I'll check that out. Definitely. That's all the questions. Oh no, we did get one more question from our guest last week, Dan Gatro. Asks, what's the best way to treat severe piles? I thought I'd say that one till last. Preparation H.
Yeah, preparation H.
Yeah, or just work through the pile until you get it to a manageable level. Better still, ask a colleague to help so that you've got a manageable workload.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever had piles, so I can't answer that question.
Okay.
For someone who poos as much as I do, I've never had piles. But
Yeah.
That's my preventative measure.
I've had piles and piles.
Yeah, the best way to beat piles is just don't get them.
Just don't get them. Clean your bum hole. There you go. And don't sit on the toilet for too long.
Yeah.
Easy. Don't take your phone into the toilet because that's the biggest distraction. If you get pins and needles while you're on the toilet, you're on the toilet too long. That's the simple.
On the subject of piles, Aldi do a smashing vegan ice cream. Oh no, I think that might be the.
Sorry, I'm completely straight up there. But yeah, I think that's all the questions for this week. So thank you everyone for sending those in. Much appreciated. Very much appreciated. So I guess we'll do recommendations, chaps. Start with you, Josh.
Oh fuck! Why did you come to me first? I have been watching something. Oh no, I've been rewatching Toast because Matt Berry is brilliant, and Toast is hilarious. I thoroughly recommend that. I don't think I've listened to anything new. Oh no, I listened to the Loathe album that you recommended last week, Andy, and it is brilliant. I thoroughly back that decision. And Toast, just the normal podcast that I listen to every week that I subscribe to. Some like the Blind Boy podcast, Off Menu, Adam Buxton, Louis Theroux, Bill Burr, Scroobius Pip, XO Higher Self. And I have another recommendation from a previous guest when we had Sophie on. She recommended the audiobook Atomic Habits. So I listened to that, finished that yesterday. It's really good, really quick listen, but some really good advice on how to sort of insert some good habits into your life with very little effort. So that's always useful. What about you, Andy?
Me, well, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones at the minute, so that's kind of taken up a lot of my time. But obviously, it's wicked. Yeah, I know. Until it's not wicked. But yeah, what else have I got to recommend? The Super Bowl is this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Kansas City Chiefs. Not really. I don't really have a dog in the fight, so it's just going to be nice to watch. The spectacle of it. So the Super Bowl this weekend, Sunday night, for anyone who wants to check it out. The UK coverage, if you're not an NFL fan, the BBC's coverage is always pretty good for explaining what's going on and stuff. And if you get into it, you get into it. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. I got recommended a podcast by my friend Tom, which is really good. I just had to look it up, called A Script Apart, which is a podcast about movie script ideas and initial story ideas, where the host will have the screenwriter or someone else and they'll read original drafts, like first drafts of films, and how different the story could have been. So for you, Nick, the last one was Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which had different story beats to it and stuff like that. So really good podcast. But they've done Inside Out, Die Hard. So yeah, it's a really cool podcast.
Nice.
If you're into movies and stuff, it's very cool to check out. And also just to shout out my friend Dan. Interesting that we had the chat about mental health, because I kind of wanted to talk about this anyway. But my friend Danny, who is the vocalist in the UK metalcore band Bury Tomorrow, he is doing a series of kind of mental health chats on his Instagram. He has different musicians and people from different backgrounds talking about their experiences with mental health. He calls it like safe space. But yeah, it's really good, really enlightening, really honest conversation. And he's just doing it kind of off his own back, really, especially with the band not being able to tour. So I'm just looking at what his Instagram tag is. But I think it's, Dan Bury Tomorrow is his Instagram tag. And he does these safe space chats, and all the ones he's done up there are all on his Instagram. So yeah, check that out. Really interesting sort of hour-long conversations he has with people from different fields. That's this. Nick?
Just a time, so I'll do mine quick, or as quick as I can anyway. But it'll be the second time I've used the phrase tonight, but preaching to the choir. It's a sin. It's amazing if you haven't seen it already. I'm 4 episodes in now. It's a very, very good drama, very, very important subject, but still done in an entertaining way without losing its message. So that's on Channel 4. It's very, 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 very good. And I recommend it to everyone. And then the other thing I tried something out last when we had Sophie on, where I did a Twitter account and I quoted some stuff. And I still love that Twitter account. So if you want to find it, it's Tom Hank that me, I think. But it's it's a parody account about Tom Hanks, but the picture is Jim Carrey, which is funny in itself. But then the quotes are just pure gold. But this time, there's a series of articles on The Guardian called How We Made. And every week it's a different subject. This week it's Steps 5, 6, 7, 8. So how they made that. So it talks to the guys from Steps and Pete Waterman about how that was made. But I went back through a few and saw the Stereophonics, how they made Dakota. As, comments on it.
We lost you a bit.
Did you hear that I'm talking about the Stereophonics Dakota How We Made article?
Go from there.
Okay, cool. So they're open to comments, and some of the comments are purely gold. So I'll go through some of my favorites now. One comment about Dakota by the Stereophonics was, I always thought this was a Kings of Leon song. A boil on the arse of popular music. Someone commented tune, and another user replied Christ. They are Wayne Rooney's favourite band, apparently, which makes me despise them just a little bit more. One of the lower points of a particularly low period in British music. And unforgettable. Landfill dad rock. The blandest purveyors of insipid rock by numbers Tudio pop. They're musically the closest thing to true beige.
Wow.
And this is a quote, but they've tried to make it look like a quote from Kelly Jones, who was in the Stereophonics, saying, "We ate a load of eggs and then shat in a paper bag and then clapped the bag until it burst, same as we did with all of our songs."
Oh my God.
And then I'll throw another one in. The less I hear of this, the better.
Wow.
One of those phrases or comments is about new cassettes, and I'll leave you to guess which one that was.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. That's unreal.
Comment gold. The one on Steps is pretty funny too. So if you find, How We Made on The Guardian, and each week it's a different thing. Sometimes it's good stuff. The Pixies are on there and films. And then this week was Steps. So yeah.
Cool.
Banging.
So
Banging. Yeah, I did see, you just reminded me of Landfill Dad Rock. This weekend, to celebrate my friend's birthday, we watched American Pie 1 and 2. Me and the guys all got on Discord and watched it together. And we would say about Blink-182's in it and all this like wicked pop punk that we grew up listening to. And one of the guys shared a link to one of these compilation albums. It's like Dad Rock, the ultimate rock tunes. And now on those records, it's Blink-182, Sum 41. And we were like, hang on a minute. What? So,
I saw a meme where Avril Lavigne was on one of them.
Wow.
I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
That's not kind of dad. I'm into
Yeah.
that.
I listen to Skater Boy.
I'm well edgy.
Well, on that bombshell, I think that's probably a good place to leave it there.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks very much to Carly Loasby. You can hear her music on, I think it's Carly Loasby Music on Instagram. She also has a band called Lunaxis, Lunaxis. Check them out as well. Really good music. Actually, it's interesting that. I mean, that video is a great example of. I know she's fairly recently got the YouTube channel and things going together, and all during a lockdown. So hopefully, or maybe that's another example of somebody having to adapt and change things because nobody's playing any gigs, and it sounds like she's writing new music. So it's a really, there you go, Carly Loasby is the name to search. It's really good to see that there's still really good quality music being put out there, and just because gigs aren't happening, it doesn't mean that really good music isn't happening either. So that's really cool.
Exactamundo.
Correct.
Vogue. Should we do the Vogue?
Yes. By the way, this hat isn't so I don't forget like the A. The amount of people I've heard like, oh, is that because it's your name's Andrew? Like, and I'm like, no, it's the Oakland A's are a baseball thing. But yeah, thanks for anyone who has made that comment so far.
Thanks.
Just in case I forget. So yeah, I better adopt a Vogue. Oh, I know, I've got a special guest for my
Oh
Vogue.
yeah, there we go.
My lovely Buddha statue. This is G10Srapa, which is like a wisdom Buddha. So my uncle, who was a Buddhist monk, when he passed away, was it last year? No, 2019, my mum shared out some Buddhas between a bunch of us. So a bunch of us have these lovely different Buddha statues. So I brought it to the flat with me to look after me and Laura, and it sits in our lovely little Zen corner here. So yeah, I've got my Buddha for this Vogue. So yeah. No, I don't want to disrespect him.
Is it a bong?
No, how dare you? It's not a bong. Can you imagine? Yeah, I've secretly hidden it like. Okay, well, I guess we better adopt the Vogue post. So anyone watching, if you could screenshot us, tag us at the NN Social. I thought he was getting his knob out. Tag us at the NN Social, and yeah. So get ready to adopt the Vogue, boys. 3, 2, 1, Vogue. And 3, 2, 1, unvogue.
You said skater boy, so I thought I better show off my socks.
I literally thought you were getting your willy out. I was like, Josh is cracked.
No, I don't think the zooms
Oh,
work.
fucking hell.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get 15 times magnification.
Oh, 15, thanks, man.
Really far away.
Sorry, mate, you misheard. I said 50. Yeah, Dan Batterson. Josh doesn't miss leg day. Yeah, Josh doesn't miss leg day whatsoever.
Oh, damn.
His third leg.
Yeah.
Oh, this is crude. Let's go.
I know. I think we better cut off. But thanks everyone for joining us. Again, in all seriousness, if anyone wants to talk, hit us up on the NN Social or any of our personal accounts. And if you want to be a guest on the show, or you know someone who'd be an interesting guest, please hit us up, because we're running out of people to talk. Hit us up though, please, if you want to be on the show or you want to be involved or anything.
Please.
Open door policy. So, yeah, all good.
We've got a wonderful big boy guest next week, so if you do want to be in touch, a week after, you'll go on.
Yeah,
Cool.
You can join.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.